Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back from the MLG studios here in New York City. My name is axeltoss. I am joined by axslav before we jump into Game 3 of this best of 5 between Huck and BabyKnight. Full Sail University. If you're looking for a place to go to educate yourself in the video game industry type stuff like graphic design, video game design, video production, stuff like that, fullsail.edu/MLG. Check it out. They'll give you some, they'll have you fill out some information about yourself and what you kind of want to do, and then they'll send information back at you. Of course, a great opportunity to see if Full Sail is the right option for you. Again, Full Sail is the official education partner of MLG. That's fullsail.edu/MLG. Also, quick reminder, if you miss any of our matches, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. Pretty much everything we cast up here is going to be there. That includes what we casted at the Winter Championship event in Dallas not too long ago. Those VODs are all available in full 1080p HD. Definitely check this out. We also have playlists on specifics like top 5. We just had a top 5 blunders that just came out. It was pretty exciting. We have the straight up top 5 plays from the actual event. That's coming out soon. We have comment of the days, and of course we have playlists of like the best games. So like if you're like, oh, what were the best games from the Winter Championships, axeltoss? Well, we have literally we have a playlist on the YouTube channel that has 5 of them there. Of course, we compiled that list. Hopefully, you'll be entertained. I was entertained just making the list, so I'm sure if you're watching the game, it's gonna be great. But that being said, let's go ahead and get to Game 3, shall we?
Let's do it. Game number 3, Neoplanet S.
Yes.
One of your favorite maps, I believe.
Yes. It is one of my favorite maps. The physics are amazing. Blizzard is awesome for making the physics so awesome on this map. All right, let's go ahead and introduce the players. Bottom left-hand location, we have our player who's currently up 2-0 against his opponent. That means he's 1 win away from advancing to the next round of our consolation bracket. We're calling it the Winter Exhibition. If Huck wins this game, he will play Marine King in the next round. Of course, Huck is your Protoss player on the bottom left. His opponent in the top right, hailing from Denmark, a member of the team FXOEU, trying to make a stamp for himself. Not only the foreigner scene, but the world scene. Participating in a lot of tournaments lately. Can he make a serious comeback here and win 3 games in a row against his opponent? He is the blue Protoss player, BabyKnight.
One thing he's going to have to do is he's going to have to adjust to Huck's build. But Huck is a guy who has a lot of different builds, and one thing that you got to keep in your mind is if you make adjustments for the build he just beat you twice with, who's to say he might do it a 3rd time? I mean, he might, but he also might throw out something completely different. So BabyKnight's going to have to be more careful to take into account Huck's build. But he can't do something like just try to hardcore blind counter that build. Say, okay, I notice you don't scout, so I'm going to proxy 2-gate because who knows, Huck might decide to scout this. Well, actually, also there's Mothership Core, so you can't proxy 2-gate more. But, I mean, he can't do something just designed to counter that build, like a straight DT rush or something, because Huck might do something different.
Yeah, it's always going to be dangerous if you're starting to presume things in STARCRAFT 2. If you're, I mean, and that, you know, that's kind of like what a best of 5 is. You're taking notes about your opponent throughout the series. You're constantly adjusting to what he's doing, so you have a better chance of winning the next game. Of course, Huck doing the same thing in the first 2 games. Will he do the same in this one? It remains to be seen. And how is BabyKnight going to react? I feel like I'm not completely opposed to how BabyKnight has been opening. I mean, I feel like 1 or 2 different decisions, you know, it's going to be fine for him in dealing with that aggression that we've been seeing from Huck. But BabyKnight is going to start deviating, getting 2 gateways. Yeah, I mean, instead of 1.
There's definitely nothing wrong with the 1-gate Stargate build,
right.
But you have to either commit to taking a lot of map control early, which means cranking out a lot of stalkers like you did in that last game. In fact, you should have been chrono boosting more given that approach, in which case you have to get the Void Ray. Or the other option would be just to get 2 sentries early on, and then you don't have any problems dealing with that because if they keep, you can just warp in more sentries as you need them, and you won't have any problem dealing with that early attack, and your Phoenixes can counterattack, kill probes.
Even get an Oracle to counterattack and kill probes, potentially. But yeah, I agree. Like if you have, like there's, Huck does not hit with the Mothership Core, so he doesn't have high ground vision. So it's not like he can, you know, pick apart the top of your ramp if you force field the middle of the ramp or the bottom. He's just simply not going to be able to see your units. So, yeah.
Huck doing something a little bit different, getting Twilight Council slightly earlier, neglecting that third gateway for a bit longer. So he could have, oh, I mean, actually, he's even getting, he's actually just playing a defensive.
He's getting a sentry out there.
Most likely defensive DT rush. BabyKnight, on the other hand, is actually just basically doing the build Huck was doing. So, interesting kind of turn of events. BabyKnight says, you know what, that build seemed pretty good. Let's see if he throws up a Twilight Council here momentarily, or how he's going to basically progress from this point.
Yeah, he's hoping, if there's a robo, I think he's hoping Huck does the same thing, because, you know, these early skirmishes between Stalkers, those are the true micro battles, and that's where BabyKnight feels he's truly superior to most other players in StarCraft 2, which I think he's up there as far as micro and control.
Does Huck see the pylon?
I think he doesn't at this point, but now he does.
Oh, the second Stalker just gets in there, and he's going to back straight away. Of course, he was a little bit afraid of you know, getting his Stalkers too overcommitted to where they can be cut off. He's going to take that pylon off from the high ground. Great placement there. Is he going to use the force field? He is!
Oh,
BabyKnight Stalkers are trapped!
Oh, BabyKnight's just going to run right in there and going to try to flee away from the Stalkers from his opponent. Might lose one Stalker fairly soon here. Huck going to micro away one of his, but that's a good trade for Huck. BabyKnight losing 2 Stalkers, Huck only losing 1. Of course, you can talk about, all right, he used a force field well. The sentry is moments away from having another one, which he's going to definitely want, and he's going to get it right now. And there's the force field, trapping 2 Stalkers once again. BabyKnight with 4 Stalkers trapped on the low ground, but nice positioning there from BabyKnight with those Stalkers, with the Stalker that's on the high ground, so he can get some shots off on those Zealots. Takes one down. And now we're going to start seeing micro become very important here. Huck even adding in an additional sentry so we can have another force field.
Of course, without that extra sentry, you know, BabyKnight could have just ran up the ramp and did a lot more damage. Huck getting the scout off, BabyKnight getting the scout off. Both players know exactly what the other one's doing. So both players, you know, BabyKnight knows he's fighting against DTs. Huck knows he's fighting against a robotics opening. The question is, where is Huck going to go from here? His DTs are obviously not going to do major damage. He could go up to 4 gates and try to do
Archon stuff. Yeah,
he could try to do an Archon follow-up to try to break down that expansion, or he could just expand himself, and then the game is going to go forward. And I would say Huck would have a slight advantage just because of the way the early trades went out. He definitely got the upper hand in the Stalker engagements.
BabyKnight placing down a pylon, trying to keep these DTs away, and the probes are on the run. There's a lot of lost mining time. At the same time, Huck is going to be advancing with Stalkers up to his opponent's natural expansion.
Oh, if he can force field the ramp! BabyKnight's Nexus is basically going to have to be forfeited here.
He's going to take down the DTs, but as you said, if the ramp is going to be force field, there's
one
no way
DT
for
is going to escape,
to get down here. Oh, it might.
I was actually going to just take out one Stalker there. So Huck losing a lot of resources in those Dark Templar, but you know, oh!
Cancel.
I was afraid he would miss the force field. Is he? Okay, BabyKnight's not going to risk it, of course. Trying to charge up there could be a little bit presumptuous.
Yeah, I thought BabyKnight was going to come down that ramp, and Huck was going to get trapped, but...
Huck's just going to set up and contain, expand himself, go to Blink. BabyKnight, of course, is going Blink as well. And this is a situation where, you know, both players have basically roughly even armies, almost dead even, it seems like. BabyKnight with a few more Stalkers, though. Huck with more Zealots and Sentries, but Huck has the faster Nexus. The problem may be in that Stalker count. Once Blink completes, Zealots and Sentries are not super effective against Blink Stalkers.
I'm a little bit surprised BabyKnight doesn't have his Observer over his opponent's army, so he can know exactly what's going on, and Huck is just he's gonna return back home, not feeling 100% comfortable staying up there. Of course, keeping the more mobile units up there in the Stalkers, and Blink is gonna finish at about the same time, so those Stalkers shouldn't be in too much danger here.
Well, this is where a few seconds can mean a big difference. BabyKnight's Blink is 10 seconds faster. If he doesn't miss a beat on the Chrono Boost, and he finishes Blink first, Huck could actually potentially lose several Stalkers.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Of
course, you gotta be very careful with that Blink as well. You don't want to, you know, trap your Stalkers essentially if they have no ability to blink back, because
Huck is being so bold here.
Because BabyKnight could blink down, and then Huck's Blink might finish, and then Huck will be able to blink, micro blink, right? But BabyKnight won't be able to. But oh my God, that's exactly what we talked about. BabyKnight catching Huck off guard.
Wow.
And that's what happens.
Yeah, Blinks is still just 10 seconds from completion, but now it's too late. Huck totally ran out of units, and this was a game that, I think that was like the only way Huck could really lose this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
If he had those, I think he lost 7-8 Stalkers there. If he had those extra 7-8 Stalkers with 5 gateways and expansion, he would easily outproduce BabyKnight. But as it is, he's down to units. He's going to have to give it that expansion, I feel like, and maybe rely on the DT counterattack.
Oh, there's an observer. He's going to blink up to the high ground, taking down a pylon. Stalker's blinking forward here from Huck, but he doesn't have near as many as BabyKnight does. BabyKnight going to start microing away, blinking down to low ground. Is there essentially in this competition? No, there is not, so he can't force field the ramp. Huck coming forward with his Zealots and Stalkers, trying to get that damage done, but BabyKnight with a 70 to 58 supply advantage and 66 to 60 in the active forces. Should be able to get a lot of damage done here, but Huck slowly adding on more and more units here to try to deflect this.
5 warp gates is a lot of extra units from Huck, and he's actually starting to push BabyKnight a little bit back. Can he do it?
Oh, every Stalker is so important. BabyKnight trying to blink those weakened ones away, but the Zealots are starting to chop up those Stalkers as well, and Huck gonna shove. Oh my god, he's blinking forward. The 13 HP Stalker.
What a defense by Huck. I thought BabyKnight was gonna knock down that expansion. There was no Mothership Core. But Huck somehow, with the mass warp-ins, those 5 warp gates really kicking into gear there, canceling his robotics. Now, as soon as he realized there was no threat of DTs, BabyKnight is committed, though, I feel like. I mean, his Nexus has just started, but it's the point where Huck has more units and more reinforcements.
Both these players trying to keep those weakened Stalkers alive.
Was Huck overextending?
The Zealots, no, he might be. I mean, BabyKnight has more Stalkers here, but the Zealots are going to be able to tank quite a bit. However, if BabyKnight kites long enough and takes care of the Zealots, that's going to be a very dangerous position for Huck. So Huck is going to back away, realizing that prospect, and he's going to be comfortable holding this natural expansion now. I mean, he's up 62 to 55 in supply. He's had that natural expansion longer, which means his economy should be a little bit better. Yes, 30 to 25 in the Harvesters, and his income is going to be quite, is about 200 minerals better than his opponent, also sending a DT into his opponent's natural expansion.
Oh, that
no,
DT.
that's a Zealot, never mind. I thought I was looking at my minimap. It's like, that's a DT. Nope, it's a Zealot.
Oh, but BabyKnight was prepared for a DT. In fact, Observer 3 Stalkers have no problem mopping up the Zealot. There was a DT getting ready to head down there as well, but he's going to back on off, hide at the top of the map.
Huck with an offensive blink, trying to keep BabyKnight from retreating.
Oh, but Huck loses a Stalker for nothing there in that procedure. You know, if BabyKnight can actually keep Huck on the back foot here and make good trades, he might be able to find a way back into the game. Of course, he has that Immortal at home to help defend. 2
for 2 right there if you're keeping count at home. Of course, it's all about the Stalkers there. It's a free kill for BabyKnight. 2 free kills. I don't think he lost a Stalker there. And BabyKnight doing a great job, but Huck is going to continue to try to press the issue. It's going to become a problem, though, for Huck, because these Zealots aren't going to be able to catch up to these Stalkers.
The Immortal's too slow, taking a lot of damage from Stalkers. His shields are down. He's going to try to turn and fight, but the Zealots are going to say...
There's a force field. Yeah. You cannot retreat Mr. Immortal, but again, oh my god, BabyKnight blinking into the Zealots.
What a bold blink there.
He's going to lose at least a few Stalkers.
Huck abandons his Zealot style. I guess he... yeah, BabyKnight is coming out pretty decently there.
Pretty close skirmish we have in our hands here, Mr. Axslav. It's 33
This
to 31.
game keeps going back and forth. I mean,
yeah.
I was like, Huck is so far ahead, and then he loses those 7 Stalkers because the blink hasn't quite finished yet. And I'm like, BabyKnight's going to run across the map and kill him, and then Huck puts forth an amazing defense and gets significantly ahead again. But then as Huck's going on the counterattack, he basically loses like 6 to 7 Stalkers for a single Stalker using those offensive blinks. Well, BabyKnight has the defensive blinks. The defensive blink is going to be the offensive blink pretty much every single time. So an amazing back and forth micro duel by both these players. Huck still probably with a slight advantage. It looks like he has, well, actually, does
he have a robo?
They both have. He does not have a robo. He has more warp gates though, which might actually be more important.
I mean, it depends on units, and then it depends on, because like if he just makes Stalkers, I mean, BabyKnight's getting. He's gonna have 2 Immortals out.
Huck, I think, needs to go for Charge and Archons at this point, because he knows BabyKnight's adding more and more Immortals. But Huck's gonna go attack with mostly Zealots without Charge. But BabyKnight's moving out. The Immortal's too slow. Is Huck gonna pursue? No, he's gonna play it safe back, stay back a little bit. Warping in more Stalkers is Huck. He's going to try to leverage the fact that he has more warp gates.
Where are the Mothership Cores? I'm like really confused. I feel like if BabyKnight had a Mothership Core here, it'd be great to not only time warp, but potentially a photon overcharge on that natural Nexus. And that can be a huge way to swing the battle in your favor. But Huck coming forward with the Zealots and a bunch of Stalkers. Oh, great force fields there from Huck, trapping that Immortal in place. Going to target that down with the Stalkers and blink away. He's happy with that trade.
Yeah, I don't think he lost a unit, just took some damage on 3 of the Zealots, got hurt there. He's going to come in again. There's no more force fields left for either side. The Zealot's doing an amazing job tanking. BabyKnight trying to use his blink micro. But the Zealots are so powerful in this competition.
BabyKnight still slightly ahead in supply. Huck trying to change that. I'm watching that very closely. Huck charging forward with all these Stalkers. Militia Core, as soon as it pops, it falls away, so not going to be able to accumulate that energy required for Photon Overcharge. Huck going to back away. BabyKnight going to try to pursue at first, but losing a Stalker, losing 2 Stalkers. Huck not losing a Stalker in that skirmish. Going to blink forward, targeting down more weakened Stalkers, but there's the Immortal from BabyKnight. Huck immediately going to retreat back. Such a back and forth game here. BabyKnight, though, he's up in supply 76 to 70, and he's adding in those Immortals, which are so important when your opponent has a lot of Stalkers.
BabyKnight's up by a significant amount of supply, but it's almost all workers, and a lot of those are at the main, which is oversaturated. So actually, the workers,
that's a good point.
They're not going to help him anymore. As the mains run out, Huck has enough workers to maintain basically equal income because they're both on one base of minerals. Huck also has the 5 warp gates versus BabyKnight's 3.
That's a lot of Zealots coming forward. Of course, the Immortal needs to be targeting down those Stalkers in the back. BabyKnight trying to retreat back those weakened Stalkers. The Immortal getting taken down, and that represents most of the firepower in this army here from BabyKnight. Zealots getting some good shots off, good swipes off on these Stalkers. The Militia Core falling once again. BabyKnight going to have to pull these probes to try to deal with this, but Huck has way too many Stalkers, and he has the micro to keep those Stalkers alive. BabyKnight in a world of hurt, and Huck is on the verge of 3-0ing his opponent and advancing on to the next round to play Marine King Prime.
Wow, what a game by Huck. Too many Stalkers, BabyKnight GG's. And that was a game of StarCraft, man. That is that is StarCraft. Back and forth, intense micro there.
Yeah.
Huck knew his situation, and he played to it so well, knowing he had more warp gates. If he could keep the trades going, he would overrun his opponent, regardless of economy, because of superior production.
Yeah, a couple things I want to point out there was actually maybe 3 things. One was BabyKnight really just not able to get that Militia Core working. I mean, you try to get it out twice, but it's not going to do much if it's just attacking. You want to have that 100 energy for that Photon Overcharge. Again, that makes your Nexus be able to shoot a cannon, which is awesome for a defending player. It can help you so much. Another thing was lack of sentries, potentially, for BabyKnight. If he had more Zealots to tank against the Zealots of his opponent, he could have force fields to try to, you know, make Huck be a little bit more tentative with his forward blinks, because if they forward blink and you force shield behind, there's nowhere for them to go, and then your Zealots can start chopping up. And again, Guardian Shield, but it's just when you're trying to defend a choke point, it's nice to have those force shields. Another thing was his Immortals. This might be more of a Huck thing, because Huck was able, I think he got like 2 free Immortals that game. He was able to get phenomenal force fields, sectioning off the Immortals from BabyKnight's army, and that represents so much of BabyKnight's power. Once you lose those for free, it's going to be that much more difficult to be able to win that battle. So Huck just played a great game there.
He really did. You know, I think all your points basically go towards the fact that BabyKnight was trying to play an aggressive game. That's why he was going more Blink Stalkers, but he was playing an aggressive game while getting probes. And so he had like that 10 probe advantage, and the problem is that Huck, BabyKnight didn't realize this, of course, because the game was so action-packed, but Huck actually cut probes at 36, and playing an aggressive game against Huck when Huck's on 5 warp gates, he cut probes earlier, was just playing into Huck's hands because he had that superior warping mechanic. So yes, if BabyKnight knew exactly what Huck was up to, going less Stalkers, more Sentry Zealot, more defensive posture, he would have had no problem defending. But that's Huck's strength, is that Huck has this ability to always kind of know the styles the opponent's going to use and counter it. We saw that in games 1 and 2 with the, game 1 with the aggression, game 2 with the Dark Templar. And then here we saw in game 3, knowing his opponent would be trying to move out on the map and basically playing the style to hard counter that.
Great game 3 there, ultimately won by Huck. Congratulations to him. He's going to advance on to the next round of the bracket. Of course, we'll show you an updated version of that. That means he's going to play Marine King, and that's something you guys are definitely going to want to tune into. Of course, that's happening over the I think we're starting the round of 8 next week.
Yes, we are.
Near the end, because we still
Thursday.
We still have 3 matches. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be dedicated to the round of 16. Of course, Stefano was not able to play, so Thorzan gets a bye in the first round. So Minigun Creator, Sase Ghost User, Hero Feast, all next week, and that will be followed by, of course, the round of 8 matches. A lot of exciting StarCraft coming your way. Of course, this is the MLG Winter Exhibition, a tournament involving the losers of Round 1 from the 2013 Winter Championship event. We're giving them a second chance at winning some money. First place gets $1,000. Second place gets $500. Of course, coming up next on this channel is going to be Rules of Engagement with Mr. Axlav.
That's right. Today on Rules of Engagement is going to be Flash versus Partying. It was a great series from MLG Dallas Winter Championships. We're going to analyze a couple of the games from that series. If you want to catch the full games, the full VODs, catch them as they were casted live. All the VOD content is, of course, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. But if you want to hear some cool analysis and see exactly what makes Flash such a god of StarCraft, stay tuned because Rules of Engagement is coming up next.
Guys, congratulations to Huck advancing on to the next round of the Winter Exhibitions. And again, as you said, coming up next is going to be Rules of Engagement, and we'll see you also next week, 5 p.m. Eastern, for the continuation of the MLG Winter Exhibitions. Thanks for watching.